splashed water around as though it were flop sweat from Rubio. For his part, Rubio suggested Trump may have peed his pants during last night's debate.
During one of the breaks, two of the breaks, he went backstage. He was having a meltdown. Then he asked for a full-length mirror. I don't know why, because the podium goes up to here, but he wanted a full-length mirror. Maybe to make sure his pants weren't wet. I don't know.
Compared to that,
tearing people down is easy. Building them up is what we need to be doing together.
the Democratic side seems downright tame.
It feels like this time next week we could know who the nominees are.
Well, I think probably not, actually.
Let's assume you run the table and that you're the Democratic nominee.
Yeah.
Trump's the Republican nominee.
That'll be a lot of fun.
How do you take him on?
Oh, a man whose ideas and posture and behavior is so divisive, which really becomes an embarrassment for the United States of America. I don't think it's going to be a tough race.
Both of them are drawing huge crowds, including many first-time voters. Both rail against a political system that they say is bought and sold by special interests.
We, the people, are going to have a government that represents all of us, not just a handful of billionaires.
One rails against billionaires. The other insists his billions are what allow him to be his own man.
I know the best people, and I'm totally self-funding my campaign.
In an odd way, you guys are flip sides of the same coin.
No, I don't think so.
Talking about a broken system and tapping into people's frustration.
No, one of us is tapping into hatred. One of us is tapping into a very positive agenda.
Imagining the day when you're on that stage with Donald Trump, what do you say to him? What's your strategy for taking him down?
Why would I tell you? He's probably watching your show.
This is Sanders' penultimate stop in Palmetto State, and truth be told, it's a disappointing crowd. ABC's Mary Alice Parks is traveling with the Sanders campaign.
This is probably one of the smallest Bernie Sanders events I've ever been to.
Is it your sense that he's written South Carolina off?
In some way. It's a state they'd rather have in the rearview mirror.
Sanders is putting in his time here, but mostly he's put his focus on the state's voting on Tuesday and beyond. Tonight here in Orangeburg, the two Democrats almost ran into each other.
Stop number 2 today, the Orangeburg Fish Fry and Oyster Bake. Hillary Clinton's actually inside right now.
Bernie's waiting. He's on next. Inside
So fancy running into you here?
are all the reporters traveling with the Clinton campaign, including ABC's Liz Kreutz.
I've been to all the early states with her, and this is the one you can tell is Clinton country. People really like her here.
In South Carolina, the Democratic electorate is more than 50% black.
We need this. Well, I'll be there for you.
Bill and Hillary Clinton have been canvassing the state, making 22 stops here this past week alone. Sanders has made just a handful or so. Sanders has sought inroads in the black community,
Wake up, South Carolina.
including a new endorsement and radio ad from director Spike Lee.
When Bernie gets in the White House, he will do the right thing.
I'm Hillary Clinton, and I approve this message.
Clinton has plenty of celebrity endorsements, too, including 2 ads from one of the most celebrated voices in America, actor Morgan Freeman.
She understands that our country can't reach its potential unless we all do.
Last week, voters at this barbershop told us they'll make up their own minds.
That's just like politicians show up to our churches when it's election time, but we don't see them no other time. But again, you're going to have the uneducated that's going to fall for it. Those of us who pay attention going to say, that ain't working. That's not working. That actually salts us. That makes us not want to be in your camp.
Are you only saying it because you want our vote? Or are you really sincere? The real question is, will we ever really know?
Clinton and Sanders have almost the same number of pledged delegates.
How are you?
It looks like she's about to get a big boost here in South Carolina. But Clinton also has a massive lead among so-called superdelegates, party grandees who get a say at the convention regardless of the outcomes of the primaries.
The political establishment supports Hillary Clinton. End of discussion. If we do well and we start winning a whole lot of states, and if the polls continue to show that I am a stronger candidate, I think a lot of these superdelegates say, well, maybe I'm not crazy about Bernie Sanders. But what is most important to us is defeating the Republican candidate.
Donald Trump.
Barring a big surprise Tuesday night on the Republican side, it's looking more and more likely that the GOP candidate will be a certain brash New York billionaire.
The Republican race seems like it's beginning to wrap up. In the Democratic race, a lot of people are expecting it to as well. But Bernie Sanders says he's not going anywhere. He's in this thing to the finish.
He insists he sees a pathway to the Democratic nomination.
What we're trying to do is literally unprecedented. It'll be one of the great political upsets in American history. Do I think we have a path toward victory? I do.
Are you in this all the way up to the convention?
Oh, absolutely. No. California, obviously, is 20% of the total delegates come from California. 20%.
So you're not going anywhere, regardless of what
We're going to
happens
California. We're up to the West Coast, absolutely.
Win or lose big tomorrow, he's settling in for the long haul. I'm David Wright for Nightline in Orangeburg, South Carolina.
Next, Brie Larson is the new A-lister in the spotlight. Tonight, why her role in Room was so personal. And later, he hosted the Oscars before. But will Chris Rock confront the Oscars so white controversy with comedy?
A very small space with 2 children and being sure to not put any of it on us. You realize how hard she tried, and you see it from the perspective that you couldn't have a kid. We lived in studio parts of a room with a bed that came to the wall, and my mom couldn't afford even a happy meal. We ate top ramen. I had no toys, and I had like 2 shirts and like a pair of jeans, and that was it. But I had mom all to myself. I remember it being the coolest period of time. I was really shy, like, painfully shy. So the idea of me wanting to be extremely extroverted just seemed bizarre and unnatural. Being an actor hasn't been easy. You're given mostly no's. There's these sayings that like, keep on going, it's just around the corner. And I just felt like I was like, this longest block ever. It's like 20 years walking on one block, waiting for that corner to turn.
While successful as a supporting player in both TV and film, Brie was still searching for that role which show her true talents. And then she read the screenplay for a small independent film called Room, and something inside her clicked.
Good morning, wardrobe. Good morning, TV. Good morning, sink.
You're 5 now? You're fine, you're old enough. Understand what the world is. Have to understand. Have to understand. We can't keep living like you need to help me.
The character allowed her to create an homage to her own mother and to connect more deeply with her co-star.
This is a mothering role. I had to really create a sense of companionship with this boy. How could you not want to just give everything you have to a brilliant little kid, the best? And I felt so much responsibility. I knew from being an actor at the same age he was and how badly I really wanted to be respected and I wanted to do a good job. And I saw that right away. I knew that he was in it for real. I understood that he wanted to be respected, and I was always going to make sure that he felt like a creative. You saved me.
Are you better now?
Yeah, I'm starting. Was really making it all about him, like making it about his experience, and it allowed me to really feel Ma in a deep way. We were doing these sequences. I always thought, is like, what's on the page? Like, it's a mom giving up her son. She thinks he's gonna be okay, but she's die. I always assumed that about that. When we started doing it, and I remember just holding on to Jacob in that rug, and I felt this just like gut-wrenching feeling, not wanting it to go. And I realized that was me letting go of a 7-year-old. That's me letting go of my inner child and letting go of that girl and not knowing if I'm going to get it back.
Brie's breakthrough resulted in the most powerful performance of her career and gave her closure, the little girl used to be.
It's such a powerful metaphor for me, and it trips me out that this movie is the thing giving me that experience.
Bye-bye to Room.
It's saying goodbye to 7-year-olds that were in the studio apartment. Was blissfully unaware and also so hopeful of what was going to happen. Say goodbye to my old Noel.